expecting people to be like, dang, she look good. You're not supposed to be thinking like, I'm not gonna go anywhere because nobody's looking at me. Hi fellow YouTubers, this is Amber. If you guys do not know who I am, I'm a plus size model, YouTuber, and entrepreneur. Today I'm gonna be doing a reaction video to what they call pretty privilege. So let's go ahead and check out this video. This video will also be linked down below. Okay, so this video is actually by Stefko. I think that's her name. She has 23.2K subscribers, and I just really wanted to do a reaction video to this and, you know, weigh in on what I think pretty privilege is. So let's go ahead and watch her. I sped it up just a little bit, so it's at 40 seconds. So let's go ahead and watch.
I feel like it's not to address it honestly. The subject that I'm talking about, if you saw the title of this video, is pretty privilege. And for anybody who doesn't know, the concept of pretty privilege is that you basically get treated better in life the more attractive you are. I think I've always been aware that it's out there. I've always been aware that, you know, people, specifically women, can use their looks as currency as they move through a patriarchal society. They can use it to get better mates. They can use it to get better jobs. They can use it to get jobs that regular looking females, regular looking women, I hate that I said females, who do I think I am? Regular looking women could never get, like being a hostess at an upscale club or, you know, things of that nature. It didn't really bother me until I got a little older and I started to take stock of different things that I didn't have in my life, which I think we do all the time. You know, people compare themselves to other people. It happens. And I started to just think about all the things in my life that probably would have been a little bit easier if I had some pretty privilege. So I want to make something clear before I go forward.
Okay, so before I continue on with this, she is telling the truth about how things are a lot easier when you're a little bit better looking or you are attractive. She is definitely telling the truth about that. And I'm gonna tell you guys my experience of how that is true and how it's not a little later, but that is true. But a little bit, I feel like she's a little salty, like when she's saying certain things. She kind of reminds me of somebody being a tad bit salty, but let's see.
That I find myself unattractive. I actually think of myself as a okay looking person, and I can really dial it up, you know, when necessary. Here, by the way, is a picture of me celebrating my most recent birthday. But pretty privilege is not something that you yourself can decide that you have, if that makes sense. Like a lot of privileges, it's something that society just gives you based on what the systems of, like, before you even got there. So no matter how confident I might be, no matter how much I might spend on a certain type of wig or a certain makeup application style, I'm never gonna have pretty privilege. And it does bother me, and I wanted to be honest about it. I think so often, especially with Black women, we're told to just, you know, keep your head up, sis. Don't drop your crown, sis. Oh no, not you, sis. You're strong, you're beautiful, But because of that, there's really no space sometimes just to say, ouch, like that hurts my feelings. It hurts that I'll never ... And especially for something.
And I do get what she says when it comes to Black women. If we are seen unattractive, it's almost like people just like say, brush it off and don't worry about that. You're beautiful, as if these negative things are not supposed to affect you as a woman, because it affects any woman if they're told these negative things. So I do get what
and especially for something as superficial as just the way that I look. So I wanted to take a moment in this video and talk about my experience in life, not having pretty privilege. And I really made this video for anybody that feels the same way. I know I'm not the only person. I've read articles online and I've seen comment sections where I know I'm not the only person. However, I know right now a lot of the videos on YouTube about pretty privilege are just people breaking down what it is. People saying, hey, you may not feel like you have pretty privilege, but you do. I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to be honest about my experiences, and yeah. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to pretty privilege is I want to talk different things I noticed that really started to bother me that I never experienced just as a woman, because I don't have pretty privilege. So I showed you guys that picture earlier of me on my birthday. And that picture is important to me because that picture kind of set off this whole idea of wanting to make this video. I never before really participated in any of these stereotypical rituals of going out and dressing up a certain way. And that's because I discovered at a really young age that when I'm at the club, I'm going to be paying for my own drinks. I was not the type of woman that men would fight over.
Okay, so this is why I feel like she's a little salty, and she has every right to feel salty, because if she doesn't feel beautiful, of course it's going to make you feel salty. But going to the club and expecting other men to pay for your drinks and saying this is what pretty people privilege is, for men to pay for your drinks. Now for me, I don't even drink, so even when I was offered drinks, of course I didn't take them, but I would have never expected to go to a club and expect for men to want to pay for my drinks. A lot of those women that they pay for drinks sometimes is because they're trying to get other things besides them just conversating, you know what I'm saying? So it's not just, oh, let me pay for her drinks just because she's beautiful. It's more like, let me pay for her drinks so that I can try to get in her room. Well, she may be beautiful, but they have other intentions behind that. So let's make that clear.
That men would really even approach. So early in my life, I was like 22, 23, and for sure at 25, I decided I wasn't going to go out anymore. So all of my outings, all of my fun, like let's get together, all of those things happened at bars and pubs. A lot of the times, places where I knew that nobody who I would be attracted to would be there. And I did that as a defense mechanism, right? I knew if I dress up and I go out to a certain place and I'm ignored, it's gonna hurt my feelings. So I didn't want to do that. However, for this birthday, I decided, you know what? I've been watching YouTube tutorials for years. I'm gonna lay.
Now, I've had a friend like this before, and literally when we would go out, she wouldn't get any type of play. Like, she wouldn't get any play, nobody looking at her, nobody wanted her. And I can see the jealousy building up to where it was hard to hang out with her. It was hard to like see past that and not take it personal for me. So I just believe that that is not for another person's burden to hang out with a person that is insecure and unhappy with themselves. This is something that she really needs to figure out for herself. But when you know yourself, you don't feel out of place. So it's nice to be gawked at sometimes because it makes your self-esteem go up. But honestly, you're not supposed to be thinking like, I'm not gonna go anywhere because nobody's looking at me. That's like some bitter Betty type stuff. I don't really know, but it just sounds a little salty to me.
A lace front wig. I'm gonna do my brows. I'm gonna get a dress off of Fashion Nova. Whatever you feel about Fashion Nova, trust me, I feel it too. I have thoughts.
I'm gonna put this over here so I can watch it.
Outside of the clothing that they make, that is meant to accentuate unrealistic body types, they have some beautiful and very well priced things as well. So I'll just say I'm not a huge fashion person. I don't have a lot of disposable income. I know there's places out there that I can shop at it, but for me, I went to them and I got this gorgeous dress and show here. Loved it. It fit the theme of my...
I actually have that same dress and I did a photo shoot in it, and it is a very, very beautiful dress. It's show-stopping for sure.
Party, which was mermaid because I'm a Pisces. And yeah, I felt really pretty that night. And I remember walking into the restaurant just feeling like, and my friend even got me like a little crown. And I remember walking into the restaurant and just feeling like, okay, like if anybody is gonna notice me, it's gonna be tonight wearing this. I walked in and there was a group of guys sitting down at a table. All guys looked like they were single guys. You can never tell, but they were around my age, so mid-30s, early 30s. And I walked in and not a single person turned around to make eye contact with me. Nobody budged. I was looking kind of around the restaurant.
One thing I do when I walk into a room, I never make eye contact with anybody or expect them to look at me. I don't know, I just never make eye contact expecting people to be like, dang, she look good, dang, I think when you have those expectations of you being this bombshell that you never thought you were, this woman never thought she was a bombshell. So for her to think that she should walk into a building and feel like a bombshell because she has a different outfit on, but she has basically the same attitude, it's making her expectations too high. She's already never felt this pretty privilege like she's talking about. So for her to think that, okay, now it's going to be different because I have a different outfit on, usually it's a different attitude, and it's something that you have to actually own. And I think that that's why she's so disappointed and not getting eye contact and people looking at her. So let's go ahead and
like you feel really pretty, so you're kind of looking just to see if anybody's, all eyes on me, that kind of thing. And nobody's eyes were on me. Nobody cared. And so I immediately humbled myself, and I was like, okay, well, maybe people are just trying to eat. Maybe these guys, I think that they're single guys and they're around my age, but maybe actually they're dads who get this one night out a week and they have wives at home and they're just not worried about me like that. Okay, cool. I will take all of my expectations and push them down, right? My friend walks in a little bit later. She's definitely lighter skinned. She is half Creole, Haitian, half white. And I actually, when I first saw her, I didn't even know she identified in any way as black. Like there was no way for me to tell. I didn't see it at all. But she was like, oh yeah, I'm black. She's of mixed race. And she dyes her hair blonde, or either it's naturally blonde. So it's tough to kind of be able to phenotypically say, oh, that's a black girl. Like she definitely is somebody who, I actually thought she was Hispanic. That's what I thought. And I know she's married to a Mexican man, but I thought she was Hispanic. She also has a decent sized chest, and she walked in and she had the girls out, and just her natural face, and she had her hair up in this beautiful ponytail. All those men that I, like 5 minutes before, had been like, oh, they're busy, that's why they didn't look at me. They were like, all eyes were on her. Not even the dudes. There were people in booths, or people, like everybody turned to look at this girl. And I said, there it is. There's pretty privilege. The ability to walk into a room and know you didn't waste one bit.
Okay, so for her friend, it kind of sounds like her friend already has the confidence. She's already been told she's beautiful. And there is such thing as colorism in our community of black people and black men liking a lot of lighter skinned women. When I was growing up, that was a thing. And, men would literally tell me like, you're pretty for a dark skinned girl, or you're pretty for a black girl. And a lot of the times they were my skin tone or darker telling me these things. So I get the whole colorism thing and men feeling like just because a person is light, they're a lot better than a person that's dark. But that's when I was a lot younger. When I grew into my own and knew my own beauty, I didn't give a F about what they thought, what they didn't think. I didn't really care. Like, I knew I was beautiful, and I know I was about to walk into this store, and I'm not even expecting nobody to look at me because I'm already knowing that I'm fine, like that kind of thing. So I think that it sounds like her friend is a lot more confident. The way she's coming in and the way she's like carrying herself, she makes this woman sound like she already knows who she is. And I think that's the key to pretty privilege, is knowing who you are. I'm actually in Vegas, so if you guys hear a lot of booming and stuff like that, I'm in Vegas. So I'm at the Plaza Hotel right here. It's 4th of July, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish this.
Makeup, one, hair roller, one, you didn't waste it. You're gonna go out and people are gonna notice it. She actually met her husband. I have a lot of friends who aren't married. And they, unlike me, they still think they're gonna get married. No shade at all to them, but I know like the likelihood of me getting married is so low that I don't even ask. I used to ask people, well, how did you meet your husband? I don't even ask anymore. I'm just like, oh
my gosh. This is a girl that I would never want to hang out with, because she is like the epitome of a person that you always have to pamper, and you always have to reassure, and you always have to be like, no, you're beautiful, no, you're this, no, it's just so annoying to hang out with a person like this. I ain't even gonna lie. And at least I think she was being so super honest, and a lot of women feel like this because I've met a lot of women like this, and I just can't hang out with them. Like, they're just so like low frequency that I just can't. And just for her to say she knows that she's not gonna be married, like, the things that you put out there is the things you're gonna get. So if you speak those things into existence, they will exist in your life. So I just think that she's just like a Debbie Downer in her life, I guess.
For you. But they all asked her, they were like, how'd you meet your husband? How'd you meet your husband? And I think she was confused because she was like it's hard, you know? And honestly, she met the dude just at a bar. He came up to talk to her, you know? Of course he did, right? So when I experienced that event, I was like, wow, you know, I'm still not good enough, even all dressed up like this. Then I went out to a lounge a little bit later, walked in. Nobody made eye contact with me. Nobody. Men have always sort of regarded me as, oh, she's there, and kept it moving. And it didn't change just because I had dressed myself up. I'd finally done everything a girl is supposed to do, right? And I still wasn't good enough. So I came home and I had a great night out with friends, but my heart was also, I was hurting because I was like,
the thing about her is she doesn't realize that pretty people actually make themselves prettier. If you notice in this video, she says that she doesn't get dressed, and she's not the type to go to these occasions and get dressed up. That's a part of being pretty. That's a part, even pretty people get up, get dressed, get themselves together, make sure their hair is good, look a certain way. It's just a certain way pretty people look in the industry as a plus size model, and I've seen naturally gorgeous women as well, but they still do a lot of things to themselves, from waxing to dieting to making sure they have a certain outfit to dressing well to making sure they go to the best hairstylist and having the right foundation. Even if they don't wear makeup, or they do, they're still doing something to themselves of upkeep. And she sounds like she doesn't keep herself up as far as maintenance, but then she expects for these certain type of men that likes well-maintenance, well-groomed women to look her way just because she thrown on a Fashion Nova dress and maybe put on some eyebrows. It doesn't work like that. Self-esteem only lies within that outfit that you bought. So for me, my self-esteem is all the time because I'm always making sure I look nice, I look decent enough to go outside, I spray perfume on. I'm not there to see somebody. I'm there to make myself feel good, because even when you look good and you dress good, it makes yourself feel good. So you don't have to expect a man to be like, hey, you're so fine, you're so beautiful, because a lot of these men that come up to these pretty girls, half of those men are not even their type, or most of those men are not even their type. So basically, she just wants to be adorned. Granted, I mean, a lot of women want that, but I'm just saying, like, she's not setting herself up for that. She's not doing much to be that girl. So
like, I'm always gonna be invisible, even if I try, you know? So I actually got on YouTube and started looking for pretty privilege, and that's how I found out that there are videos out there. There are videos out there with people that have a much different perspective. And then there was a video of a TikTok trend. Girl was like, oh, I'll just show it to you.
Tell me you have pretty privilege without actually telling me that you have pretty privilege. I'll start us off. I don't get ID'd.
So yeah, so after sharing her story about not getting ID'd, which by the way, I've gotten kicked out of the Apple store before because someone thought that my driver's license was not my actual driver's license. They were right. You know, I've been removed from clubs when I was underage. Like, once I was at a club in DC with these two girls, and they found out we were underage, or I was underage, and they kicked us all out. And it was me, I was the one black girl, and I was with two white girls. And the white girl turned around to me and she goes, I thought I thought they'd let us stay in there because we were with you. And I just looked at her and I said, that's how it goes for me. Like, I don't get special treatment. And when I saw the video that this kid made, it made me, I swear to God, I had like secondary trauma just from watching it, and just thinking back at all the times that I've had terrible times in nightclubs.
Notice that like small things trigger this woman, because I feel like she needs therapy. She keeps saying that she is not a person that thinks of herself as low self-esteem, but she knows that she doesn't have the privilege. I think most people who feel like they can't go into a room and feel good about themselves just because, that is a person with low self-esteem. And she keeps on being triggered by these very small, minor things. The girl that she just showed about the TikTok said, when you know you have pretty privilege, you don't get ID'd. Like, that's so minor. That is so minor. No, that is not even pretty privilege. You don't get ID'd because you may look older. Like, there's a lot of other situations and a lot of other explanations of why somebody may not have gotten ID'd. I don't know, but for her to say that this triggered her because she has been kicked out of an Apple store, it's just like she's almost like the victim all the time, and it's annoying a little bit. But I get where she's coming from, because I've at one point in my life felt very ugly in my life, and I couldn't get that balance. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was at in my life, and I felt like that. I felt invisible. I felt like nobody was looking at me or watching me, or, you know, I felt disrespected in so many ways, not even wanting guys to just turn their head and look at me, but I felt disrespected because I felt invisible. And I was very young around that time, but the minute I started investing more into myself, the minute I started, you know, taking care of my health, the minute I started, you know, having better hairstyles and feeling myself more and saying like, dang, you look really good, like, my self-esteem shot up versus me not doing any of that. So a lot of what you put into yourself is how you feel, and she doesn't seem like she puts very much into herself, but I could be wrong. So let's go ahead and play it.
Terrible times at nightclubs because people are very, very, you are not special. And then people started adding on to her TikTok trend, right? Special. And then people started adding on to her TikTok trend, right? They started telling their stories, you know, when I go out, you know, I never have to pay for drinks, or guys always buy my drinks and my friends' drinks. So my friends know when they go out with me, they're drinking for free. There were girls who were talking about, when I go out, when I'm on social media, I constantly wake up with money in my Venmo and in my Cash App because dudes are just sending me money. I really was bothered by that because every guy I've ever met, I always feel like he's the bottom of the barrel when it comes to money. And let me tell you something, I grew up being very well taken care of. So I'm always, I talked about it in my Saweetie and Quavo video. And if you haven't seen it, it's on my channel. But
so she always deals with guys that are at the bottom of. So that is all, you guys. That is the end of this video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. And if you really like this video, give it a big thumbs up and make sure you comment, rate, and subscribe. Mwah.